Good morning. It's time for Monday Morning Crochet Business Chat. My name is Pam Grice, the Crochetpreneur, and you are at the best place on the internet to get crochet business tips so you can grow your business to be more structured, more clear, and make more profits. So I'm so glad that you're here. Today we're going to be talking with another maker, another crochet business owner, specifically about hiring a virtual assistant. So let me bring Ruth into the conversation and we'll get started in just a moment. Hi, Ruth. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm
So,
great, thank
everyone,
you.
good. I'm so glad that you're with us. I just want to introduce you to everyone. This is Ruth Haydock. She is a virtual assistant and she works with a lot of different businesses, but she works with a lot of crochet designers. And so she agreed to come here today to chat with us a little bit about what to look for when you're wanting to hire help, how to go about connecting with someone, and then how to manage that relationship. So, yeah, I'm so glad that you're here. I keep trying to look at my camera because now I want to look at you. So, um, Ruth, can you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do? What do virtual assistants do, and how can they help our crochet business owners?
Yeah, of course. So, a virtual assistant is pretty much like an executive assistant or an administrative assistant for your online business. And virtual assistants came about, I would say, in the past like 5, maybe even 10 years. And they are virtual in the sense that they work from home like I do, and they don't work in an office. So generally, yeah, they just work from home and they can do a variety of tasks, not just solely executive assistant tasks, but also like organizational, project management, social media. So it's a really broad spectrum, to be honest, of like what a virtual assistant can be. And the type of virtual assistant that I am currently is more on the side of the executive assistants, doing event planning, organizing, a lot of inbox management. So
Mm.
that's a bit of a summary of what a virtual assistant is. And a really important thing about a virtual assistant is they are a contractor, so they are a freelancer, and they are probably like one of the easiest type of hires that a business owner can do, can take on initially, because they're not a salaried employee. Like, you as a business owner are not responsible for they're like you're not responsible for sick pay or pension or anything like that.
Mhm.
So that's the one of the huge advantages that business owners can see for having a freelance contractor employee like a virtual assistant, because a virtual assistant looks after their own taxes, and you don't pay them sick pay. So that's a really important distinction between like having a salaried employee and a virtual assistant who is a contractor freelancer.
Mhm. I think it makes it a lot easier for a small business owner who might be a little bit intimidated by the whole idea of giving up
Oh,
some
yeah.
control
Yeah.
and having a helper, um, but then bringing someone on and not having to be responsible for all of those things that feel really big when you're like,
Yep.
I just wanted to crochet and make things, and now I have to like have employees.
Yeah.
But I really understand the benefits of having a virtual assistant in that you can get so much off your plate. All of those things that you didn't bargain for when you first wanted to start a
Yep.
business, make things, put them online, sell them, right?
Yeah.
And it's so much more complex than that. So a virtual assistant really is such a wonderful help in a small business. Um, so, how would you suggest that our watchers go about finding someone to help them with their business?
Okay. So, well, the way that I started out as a virtual assistant is I actually got my first role through a knitting group that I'd been in for like years, and I had followed that person. I loved her work. I had like listened to her on podcasts, and she posted in the group that she was looking for a virtual assistant. And I was like, oh, okay, I know what a virtual assistant is. I could definitely do that. That's all in the skills of what I've done in the past for my own business as a knitting and crochet designer, but also when I worked at a company as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I applied and I got that job. And, that's the way I found roles since then, is pretty much through my contacts,
Mm-hmm.
through Facebook groups, through people that know me. So I would recommend to crochet designers to start with their own network first,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's so much nicer, and I'm definitely going to do this whenever I'm in the position to hire, is I think it's so much nicer to reach out to your own network first, because that people in your network, they know your business, they're probably a fan of you, they know who you are and what you do, and they can then, if hopefully they can apply for that role. So I think it's really nice to reach out to your own network first, and you can be surprised like how well how far that reach can go just by putting it on your own social media first, in your mailing list. And then if you then want to reach out to Facebook groups, like to your group, Pam, I think that would be a great place if you allow those kind of posts. I don't know if you do. Like,
I will once I hire my own people, and then I'll let other people do that. I have
nice.
2 positions, 2 or 3 I'm going to be hiring for in the next week or so.
Oh, that's exciting. Well, there you
Yeah.
go. So so Facebook groups are a great way to find people. And also the advantage of looking within your network is also if you're looking for someone who has a knowledge of crochet, I don't think it's 100% necessary that your virtual assistant, if you're a crochet designer and you want a VA, I don't think the VA necessarily needs to know crochet, but it's more of a bonus if they do. For example, if someone wants to outsource like pattern proofreading or pattern updates or answering like queries that come into an inbox about pattern, like for pattern help. So in those instances, if someone needs a virtual assistant to do that, then yes, needing someone with crochet experience is helpful. And the best way to find someone is starting with your own network. So I would recommend that to begin with. And then if you find that you still want to look for somebody, then I would consider like reaching out on job sites or things like Upwork. But I have never used Upwork personally, so I can't give any like recommendation on that. But.
So I have used Upwork in the past for small jobs, like when I was doing the Crochet Business Summit last year, and I had, it was actually a pretty big job, but like I needed a video editor. But it was just for this short window of time, like for 2 weeks, I needed someone to edit 30 videos. And so I found someone with a really great resume and, used Upwork, and it worked out really well. So I think, the process of finding someone is very similar to outside of Upwork, in that you're going to want to interview the person, you're going to want to check their background. The benefit of Upwork is that they have reviews, so you can see what other people's experience was working with that person. But for my other things, like even social media, I really think there's a benefit to having someone who understands the crochet world, so they understand like what your social media posts should look like or what your Pinterest pins should look like, because there are some niche specific norms that we have in the crochet industry that might be different in a different industry. So instead of having to train someone to do that, finding someone within the crochet industry, I think just makes sense. Yeah. So one of the big questions people have when I talk to them about hiring a VA is like, how do they even get into your accounts? How do you do you just give your passwords out to random people or, people that you hired? So share a little bit about how you do that, and then maybe some other of software programs that you use to make that process go smoothly of working with someone else.
Okay, yeah. So the easiest and probably the safest way to share account access is using a password manager like LastPass or 1Password. And I personally use LastPass, And I would encourage like business owners to do that, to get a LastPass account. And it's not even that much a month, but I think just having that security, like I think it's something like maybe $4 a month. So it's not a huge amount, but having that and knowing that you are in control of all of your passwords is worth the money. So with LastPass, it's really easy. You add, for example, your Instagram password to the account, and then you can share it with your virtual assistant, and you can hide the password so they don't know what the password is. And the advantage of that is you can update the password whenever you want, and your virtual assistant can just continue accessing it as normal. So it makes things a lot easier. And in the past, I have worked with people who haven't wanted to use a password manager. And I would really discourage that. Like, do not send passwords in Google Docs. Do not send them via email. Like, just do not do it, because it does put your like business at risk. So I would really encourage that. And being in control of all of your passwords is like really important.
Right.
And LastPass and 1Password make that like super easy, which is
And
great.
that's what they do. Like their whole job is to keep your business secure. And it's one of those things, it is a very small investment for a lot of security. And so it's one of those things that it's a business investment, but it's best for your business. And so it's the wise thing to do.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it also like avoids the time wasting back and forth between well, I've had this with clients in the past, be like, oh, what's the updated password? And then they're sending me like, oh, it's not working. But so basically LastPass and 1Password, like just it'll save you time and like ultimately make your business work more efficiently.
Yeah. And are there any other software programs that you would recommend people use with their VAs?
So I would really recommend using like a kind of more professional way of communicating, like Slack, for example, or simply using email to communicate. That's also okay. I would really encourage those forms of communication. Like Slack is pretty much like a messenger app, but it keeps everything separate. I've had clients in the past who want to just communicate via Facebook Messenger, which kind of then overlaps with your personal life and business life. So as a business owner, like I would say, like from the get-go, communicate like in a separate app like Slack, so that you have like your business separate to your personal life. And also communicating via Slack, you can create threads. So you can have like social media as one like topic thread, and any questions, any like discussions can go on that section. And then you can have another section for, I don't know, file organization or something. So Slack makes it super easy, and it's a free app. So it makes it very easy. You can get around it and just use email, but I would encourage something like Slack. And
I can see that email over time would just become filled up with back and forth conversations, and easy to get something lost in the process.
It definitely
I hadn't used Slack before, but I have a new Facebook ads manager, and she uses Slack, and so I've just been using it the last couple of days, and I'm like, where has this been all my life?
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, what about file sharing? Are you file sharing on Slack, or where do you file share?
So you can do file sharing on Slack. So I tend to do file sharing via Google Drive. So that's the way I would do quite a lot of file sharing with clients. But you can also file share via project management tools. So Asana, for example, it's a great way to organize things and keep track of to-do lists and to keep track of tasks. But you can also attach files in Asana. So some business owners that I've worked with, they don't want to pay for Google Drive because it can fill up really fast. So the alternative is to share you can share documents in Asana, but you can also share really big files via WeTransfer. So but for day-to-day management and files, I would say Google Drive or Dropbox.
Okay.
But I find, especially if it's like collaborative documents, Google Drive is the best thing. and you can start up with just like a free account and then review it like as you go and upgrade if you need more storage. But Google Drive, I've used that a lot with clients, and it's great.
Yeah. Okay, and let's one final question. What do you think what's your number one tip for managing a good relationship between the VA and the small business owner?
Ooh, my top tip. I would say communicating regularly. The times when I've worked really well with clients, it's when we've had like a scheduled call every week, and we use that weekly meeting to discuss upcoming priorities, and also discuss like any issues that I was having or anything that I need from my client. So you don't have to have weekly calls. Like, I can appreciate, especially like also because a lot of virtual assistants will charge by the hour. So if you're having like an hourly meeting every week, that might not be the best use of the time you're paying a virtual assistant for. So instead, you can have a short 15-minute meeting, or simply you can just agree every week on a Friday at 10 a.m. We'll just have a chat via Slack. You'll tell me what your priorities are for the coming week. If there's any outstanding tasks that you want to discuss, do you need anything from me? How can I support you better in your role as a virtual assistant for me? Like, it can just be a very brief Slack chat. It doesn't have to be a meeting, but if possible, have like a face-to-face via Zoom chat every month, I would say. Because that just keeps the
I have like a half an hour weekly with my my primary VA, and I find it really helpful just to connect face to face. And throughout the week we have one card in Asana that we put like, oh, this is what we're gonna need. We're gonna need to chat about this. We're gonna need to chat about that. And so we have all of our topics already in there that we can both see, so we know what we're going to talk about. And we can just kind of go through those, and it just makes it, I think it makes it to feel like you're together when you're actually talking face to face. Thankfully she lives close by, so we can actually get together once a quarter
that's
in
really
person.
nice.
So that's nice. Okay. Well, I feel like this is a good overview, and that people who were hesitant maybe about hiring a VA, I really encourage people to give it a try. For me, it's such a load off to know that there's someone who is competent. The VAs are working in their kind of core competencies, what they're good at. If they know, like, I don't like Pinterest, then they don't put that on their resume and they don't take that. So typically they're highly skilled in the areas that you're looking for some help. And then if you can find somebody in the crochet industry, I mean, it's just such a bonus. I just love that. So I just want to encourage everyone to see what you can do to connect with someone, support another small business, and allow them to support you at the same time. I think it's a win-win. Ruth, can you tell us how people can connect with you?
Yeah, so my website is ruthhaydock.com, and you can find me on Instagram at Ruth Haydock. And you can also find me on my Facebook page, which is also Ruth Haydock.
That's easy. Okay, I'll put links down in the description as well.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I think this was really helpful, and I know that there are people who are going to get motivated now because they see how easy it is. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, this was great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll see you later. I'm going to go ahead and click end. See you, everyone.
Bye. Bye.